Train for your best, sports performance, elite membership athletes. Welcome, Joe Toffer here with another great webcast. Thanks for listening. As summer approaches here and as our schedules change a little bit, I want to talk about something really important, that is rest. And rest, I love this quote from Tom Brady that states, your ability to work hard is only as good as your ability to recover. And that's a really big and bold statement as he's played for many, many years and been healthy through that journey. He's really paid particular attention to that rest component. Now, I break up rest into two phases here, recovery and sleep. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about both of them. But what's interesting is they're kind of combined in the same thing because they take up 25% of our performance is based on how well we rest. That means sleep, that means recovery, that means making sure that we get our rest when we need to rest, make sure we're not doing too much, make sure we're getting enough sleep, all those types of components we're going to talk about here. So what of that 25%, like what do you mean it affects me 25%? And let's just run through some of those. Memory. So it can definitely affect your memory, like remembering plays and remembering stuff for finals when you're taking finals class. Your ability to concentrate, catching balls, throwing, shooting free throws, making sure you stay in your lane, right? Different things like that. Mood changes. So if you feel yourself getting really moody, maybe you're not getting enough rest, you wake up really crabby. That could certainly be because we're not resting enough. Your immunity, so fighting off diseases and things to be sick, colds and flus and things, the weaker your immune system, definitely rest can play a particular role in that. Blood pressure, balance and strength, which is really what we're kind of all about, right? Just our overall movement patterns can be affected 25% on how well we recover and how well we sleep. So we got to make sure that we're making those things happen. So what actually happens when we're sleeping or when we're not actually doing our sport? And a lot of good things happen. Muscles repair themselves. So, what happens, we get these little micro tears when we lift weights, little micro tears when we dance, little micro tears when we play basketball. And then when we're recovering and we're sleeping or we're laying on the couch kind of resting, reading a book, those tears become repaired. And that's a big deal. We repair all our fuel sources. So all the ATP, which is in our cells that make us strong, we're repairing those. Our bones grow when we're sleeping. It's hard for your bones to develop in maturity when that's happening. Your organs cleanse, so your liver and kidney and brain and all those things get time to rest and recover and get new nutrients to them and make sure that they can function for the next day or later on that evening. Hormones develop, so as we're getting older, we want to make sure that our hormones remain developed and make sure that we're full of them, the ones that we need. And that happens during rest. And then our nervous system development, that's a big one, right? Our ability to remember routines, our ability to remember plays, our ability to do all those types of things. Our nervous system needs a break too, so we can take all that in and then remember it and make sure that it grooves those movement patterns we talk about all the time about moving clean and making sure that we're able to remember that great golf swing, make sure we're able to throw the great pitch, all those types of things. So it's really important. So that's what it affects. Let's talk about a little bit of some strategies between rest and recovery here moving forward. So in the recovery, we want to make sure the quantity is there. So there's a reason why we train a lot of pro athletes, a lot of college athletes, NBA, NFL, and it is mandated that they take a full day off every week. So the team cannot do anything for 24 hours. So that's mandated at that level. I think it's even more important at high school, elementary school, middle school ages to make sure you're getting that full day of recovery to let your body kind of rewind and refresh itself to make sure these things are moving well. Every year, I feel like every athlete, I don't feel like, research would state, but then I think based on the knowledge I've seen, every athlete should take 2 weeks off, not 2 in a row, but should take, there should be a week somewhere, and maybe you started hard in January, maybe in April that you take a week off, and then maybe again in July that you take a full week off. Just kind of get away from your sports, get away from movement. Doesn't mean you can't do anything, but we do want to make sure that the body has time to recover, reestablish itself. We can make sure we're looking at our asymmetries and things and just kind of rest our brain and soul and body, mind, body, spirit, right? Consistency is a big one. The body likes consistent recovery. So you can't go hard for 6 months, take 24 hours off and think that everything's going to be fine, right? The body adapts to consistent rest. Every week on Sunday, maybe that's your day to let it rest. Eat consistently. So make sure you're eating afterwards, before exercise, things like that can help that recovery process. Make sure you're eating on recovery days still to get that fuel in for the next day when you're not going to be just in a recovery state. And then plan. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time to rest. You have to prioritize and plan. What do they say? Failing to plan is planning to fail, right? So we want to make sure that we're planning our consistent rest. When can I get 24 hours in this week that I can rest? You might have to tell somebody, hey, I can't do that this week. I have to prioritize. My body needs recovery. And you'll be surprised how much better you feel. So many of our athletes go hard, and then they're like, geez, I don't know. I just can't get it. And I say, take 24 hours off, come back to it and see what happens. And 9 times out of 10, it's like, whoa, I did better. So that's that recovery spot. Some strategies to make sure we're getting better. Get moving right away in the morning, right? That's a big one. I think a lot of people don't understand is get up and get moving. Don't lay around. Don't kind of be stagnant. Get up, go for a walk, ride a bike. Just do your chores around the house, whatever it may be. Get moving right away because that kind of helps in active recovery. Nothing too strenuous, just a little bit moving. If you do something when you're trying to recover, make sure it's different. So if all you do is swing golf balls or all you do is play tennis, then go for a jog or ride a bike or just do something different than what you're used to. You'd be surprised how much that refreshes and realigns the body. If we don't use it, we lose it. So if you're doing the same motions every day, then if you keep doing those, you're going to lose the ability to do maybe an overhead reach or whatever it may be. So a lot of our hockey kids struggle, athletes, college and pro, high school too, lose the ability to reach overhead. Their shoulders get tight. Why? Because they don't do that in hockey. So if all they do is this and this, then they don't get that ability to reach overhead and they lose that and their shoulders get tight and they have issues. If you do a recovery program, right, that's why we're here. We can help you with that. We can build a recovery program for you that might be 10 or 15, 20 minutes you can do once a week. But it's got to be individualized. It's got to be on things that you need to work on. Don't waste your time by just kind of, I'm just going to do some hamstring stretches, even if your hamstrings aren't tight, right? We want to make sure those are very specific to you. That's why we evaluate you. That's why we want to make you better, okay? Nutrition is big. I kind of already talked about eating consistently, but making sure to recover, you got to get protein in your diet. You got to repair the muscle cells. We'll talk about nutrition in different webcasts, but eating right and right timing and all that things is very big in your recovery process. So make sure if you're on weekend tournaments, things like that, you're getting enough fuel within 40 minutes post exercise. I know you might have a game the next day. Make sure you're eating right afterwards, eating the next morning as soon as you can. Even setting your alarm in the middle of the night if you have to, if you're not getting enough calories. But whatever it takes, we have to get that recovery in. And then hydration is one of the huge ones we'll talk about too in a different webcast. But quickly, we should be drinking 75% water, or 75 minimum ounces of water if you're 150 pounds. If you're bigger than that, then we need more water in us, okay? So now we're going to go to sleep real quick, talk about that. Your quantity of sleep is huge. There's a reason why all of our professional athletes now have sleep doctors. Literally, they pay someone to evaluate their sleep. They counsel them. They check in with them. They do tests. And you'd be surprised how much sleep. I have one athlete that needs 10 hours of sleep. That's what they recommend. So he literally has to prioritize himself to get those 10 hours in. He's a different athlete when he gets his 10. I worked with him in the summers. I've worked with him year round. And I can tell right away in the morning when I see him, he didn't get his 10. And so he's a different guy. So we want to make sure you're getting, research would say at high school age, middle school age, it'd be 8.5 to 9.5 hours. And I guarantee you most of you aren't getting that. So we got to prioritize sleep. It's such a big deal to making sure that these things incorporate it. Consistent sleep as well. So you can't make up sleep. People are like, well, I'll get 3 hours tonight. Tomorrow I'll go to bed at 6 o'clock and then I'll be able to get my hours in. No, it's got to be consistent. The body likes consistent sleep. It likes consistent recovery. It likes consistent nutrition. That's how it adapts. And so we want to make sure that we're consistent. Go to bed the same time every night, get up at the same time every morning. I've gotten to a point in my life now that about 9 p.m., if I'm not in a bed, I look like a zombie. And I love that because I know I have not set my alarm, in almost 10 years. Only twice because I had to get up at 3:45 in the morning. Other than that, I don't need an alarm. My body regulates itself. It's ready to get up. It's ready to go 7 days a week, not weekends. I sleep an extra 14, 16 hours. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be same time go to bed, same time get up. And that's why summer, as we approach summer here, it's important that, I'm going to stay up till 2 now and get up at noon. That's not going to work, okay? So make sure you're getting to bed at the same time you were in the school year and getting up. You will be surprised how much your body's going to adapt to that and do good things. Make sure you're exercising. We talk about that all the time. Same thing, plan it. I drives me nuts when people say, well, I don't have that much time to sleep. You do. You just have to prioritize your schedule. You have to figure out what's important to you. If you really want to get to that next level, you have to prioritize sleep. It's what it is. So if you don't prioritize it, then plan on losing 25% here. Okay, because we don't want that though. We want to plan. Some strategies. Create a bedtime and morning routine. Okay, when I go to bed at night, I'm going to brush my teeth, say my prayers, read 10 pages in a book, put my phone over there, shut the lights off, and go to bed. And then every morning I'm going to get up. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm going to go right to the bathroom. I'm going to use the bathroom. I'm going to shower. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to eat some breakfast, and then I'm going to start my day. So creating some type of routine is huge. Limit napping. A lot of people, there's big discussion on should I nap, should I nap. The most recent research is stating that you don't need it if you sleep well at night. And honestly, if you nap before competitions, nap before, it takes the body along. There's a reason why we play at nights and not in the mornings, right? And it's because the body needs to regulate itself and get ready from a performance level. If NFL football games were at 6 in the morning, you wouldn't see as good performance. I promise you that. So that's why we want to make sure that we get up and get active throughout the day to be ready for the session later on in the day. 60 minutes prior, try to get no cell phone usage. And I know that's hard to do. I'm one of the biggest downers of this is I'll be on my phone because I'll have a thought or something. And a lot of times what I have to do is put my phone in the bathroom to make sure that I'm not playing on it. That's a huge one. There's this thing called blue lights that are on the phone that actually keep you up and keep you not be able to fall asleep. So we want to make sure that we limit the amount of screen time that we have. That goes for computers too. Limit caffeine and sugar. Those things will keep you up. Write down tomorrow's goals. Sometimes we get busy minds, right? In the middle of the night, we want to make sure that we eliminate that a little bit. If we write down, okay, this is what I'm doing tomorrow, this is what I'm accomplishing, it kind of puts my mind at ease to say, okay, I'm good now. I know what I got to do for tomorrow. I can rest myself. That's a big deal so we don't have a busy mind. Foods that help you sleep. So there's different, chemicals and things in these foods that can help you. Honey, kiwis, oats, bananas, almonds, all have really good nutrients to kind of put your melatonin to kind of keep your body to sleep a little bit. And then get up right away with no phone, which we already talked about. So rest is huge. Make sure you're getting your rest. As we start summer here, don't change your schedule. Go to bed early. Get up early. Get your 8.5 to 9 hours. Establish a good schedule now, so when the fall comes or when midsummer comes or whatever it may be, you're ready to go. So let's really work on rest. Let's take advantage of this 25%, and let's get after it. Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to seeing you soon.